Forgot to put someone on the stage. That's great. Look, I'm just off. It's been one of those days. I got needles in my ears. You see the little band-aids? They're kind of cool. I don't know. I'm really close. I feel really wow right now. It's kind of great. And you know what? We're right back.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractors Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
So we started looking for a way to save money on fuel. And we were turned on to the ES Advantage program for fuel first. And so we got a hold of Jeff Reese, and he ran us through that program. And man, we were starting to save. And then we started talking to them. Well, we saw their website and we said, Jeff, what's this thing about insurance and accounting and
right.
You lease trucks? What?
Right. And that's the thing is we only knew it as a fuel card. And when we started digging deeper, I mean, we ended up getting hooked up with an insurance provider, Seabright Agency, and they created an entire insurance program just for us and our people. And from that, we've learned that, now there's even more potential. There's a greater opportunity. And it's completely opened up our eyes and broadened our vision into what it is we're trying to do, which is help people do better. Wrapped with the ES community just makes that process so much easier.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
I'm having trackball issues, Jeff.
Of course you are.
My trackball is double clicking everything I do.
That's weird.
Oh God. Like oh my God, Jeff. I'm having troubles. I can't move this over to the right screen. Oh. I gotta be fast. Look at that. Hey, you're home.
We can't see what you see, Charlie.
Oh. My bad. Didn't have time to shave today. I was gonna make myself a little prettier.
Here, let me move over here. There we go.
Right? That's funny. Totally again. This is not intentional. Okay, here, just in case anybody doesn't know what this is. The background. What that means, oh crap, we're on the wrong side. Oh God, every time I click on the screen, it does weird things. There we go. Oh God, it's full screen again. Oh, I am train wreck. I don't know what's going on in chat. I don't even, whatever. Chris, you shut up, man. I do love you, sir. It's been crazy. This week was not a good week for me. It's been a rough one. Nothing worked out. It's all Ida's fault. Yeah, she suckered me into a rescuing a load, and it all went downhill from there. Just saying.
Oh, the guy that's been at Swift 15 years.
Oh, I've been on Swift 15 years. I know better than anybody, he told me. This is the guy who had me swap out a trailer on an off-ramp because he ran out of hours. He was on an off-ramp where there was a truck stop and a Walmart. Just
you didn't tell me that part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The truck stop was on the opposite side of the freeway we were on. He's like, but I didn't have hours. I'm like, bro, you violate your law. You don't stay on the off ramp. I don't care. He doesn't have personal conveyance. He told me so. That tells you something already, because that means they literally took it from him. So whatever. Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Yeah, I think I'd take the violation on that one, Charlie.
Right? Dude. And then I watched him almost get completely smashed, rear-ended by another big truck who was coming down the off-ramp, not paying attention, straddling the fog line. And he swerved at the last second and did not hit us. And I'm telling you, I tightened up, man. I was standing outside and I'm thinking, this is going to suck. Oh, I'm going to put the link up in here. Anybody who would like to get on camera, talk with us, really, let's talk about anything that's on your guys' mind tonight. Come on, let's keep it trucking if we can. I'm just saying, don't. It's too easy to send me down these squirrel paths, so don't do that. I mean, it's going to happen, but you know what I mean. So anybody who would like to come up, I don't care if you've never seen the show before and this is your first time here and you just want to pop in, we would ask that, try not to be driving, because that's weird. And depending on your company, you might actually get in trouble for being on camera while you're driving. Just saying. Look at, if I line up right here, it works on my beard almost, Jeff.
Almost.
Look at that. That one is so much prettier than mine, though. Gosh.
Not as scraggly.
You shut your mouth. The mustache is much prettier on that one, too. I'm just saying. Let me grab the link. It's doing all this double clicking crap. I'm going to pin it. Oh, I got to do it on the YouTubes. Bear with me a moment. I got to pin it from there. Let me mute that one. Oh my God, this double click. I don't know why it's double clicking. Post that. Click that. Pin message. There. It'll be pinned at the top. Anyone who would like to come in, try to keep it clean, guys. We try. It doesn't always happen. I mean, it's not like we're going to kick you out or anything. But we try. This dude, every time I click on the screen, it does. What? What you said?
Oh, Donna saw a lady on Instagram. She says on the Instagram. So,
Nice.
Yeah. Kind of like the Facebooks.
Yep.
She had a virtual court appearance and was driving while talking to the judge.
I just saw that one too.
And lied on camera, claiming to be the passenger.
Yes. While she's on the driver's side, wheel just out of view. It was fantastic. I enjoyed the heck out of that one.
Wow.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
Tim? At least Jeff's not driving.
Tim, I am home this week. Dude, I left the house the second week in January, and I got home yesterday. This is a long tour, man.
I love you. I
It's
just
the
playing.
puffy eyes and freaking, I'm tired.
I had acupuncture today, and I'm so happy. Look, check this out. I can turn my head like this, and it doesn't hurt. I don't even know how to deal with this. So I'm going to try not to do it a lot because, I'll just break something, right?
Crack.
Yeah. But, right now it is pretty awesome. Like I have like very little pain right now, and that's fantastic. So if you've ever thought you needed acupuncture for pain, I'm telling you, as of right now, I am a believer because it is fabulous. I need a new battery, dum-dum.
Yeah, Tim had quite a week. He got another freaking coolant leak, man. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, another coolant leak.
I don't. How? Just how?
Well, once he gets all this stuff fixed, he won't have to fix it again. He'll probably be retired by the time he has to deal with it again.
Good God, Tim, I hate that for you. Take a step back away from the camera, Jeff. No, he'll be too far back. And I'm too close.
I'm comfortable.
I had to disable my camera and re-enable it because I don't know why it was all zoomed in crazy. And I couldn't get it to, not cut half my face off. Whatever. Oh my gosh. Whoever was first, second, third, I love you guys.
It was
I'm
great.
not going back. Of course it was. Why wouldn't it be?
I mean, literally, you were still doing the post to the socials when he popped in.
Right. That's fair. I mean, so I lost an hour. I literally thought I had 1 hour to go. So I was getting ready to post it all 1 hour before. And I looked and I was like, wait a minute. I've got 6 minutes. Jeff's like, bro, I'm trying to find it. I'm like, dude, I'm doing it right now. I didn't realize it. I lost an hour. I can't read a clock. Whatever.
Well, I was minding my own business and my alarm went off showing 10 minutes. And I said the same thing. Donna as my witness. I thought I had another hour.
Right? I was completely thrown off by that. I was like,
I guess that's what's going on today.
It just goes with the rest. Look, you know how I am, Jeff, about appointments and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I walked into my acupuncture appointment at 1 o'clock. I got in the parking lot at 12:55. I had lost my mind.
Yeah.
And made it worse is my doctor acupuncture lady, Patricia, who is fabulous and my new best friend. Dude, when she came out to get me, she had a look on her face. And I said, and the lady that was checking me in said, she really likes people to be here early. And I was like, normally I am. I mean, if I'm not a half hour early, I am late.
Mm-hmm.
And she walked out with a look on her face. And as she turned around, she called me over and she turned around and started walking away. I looked at the lady, Sandy, behind the counter. And I said, I'm pretty sure she's upset with me for being here right on time. And I am sorry. And I told her that for all appointments going further, I will not be this on time because that's late.
So let me get this straight. You made the lady mad that was going to poke needles into your body.
Yes, right. So we had a long talk beforehand, so that was good. By the time she started jabbing needles, man. Dude. So I got to tell you, I only felt. So they put a needle back here behind my ear. Well, several, and a couple back here. I felt one on each side. I had them in my ankles, my back, my shoulder, my neck, my head. I mean, all over the damn place. My wrists, my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I only felt those two. I don't get it. It's magic.
Yeah.
It is absolute. And then she gave me a massage afterwards. Oh my God. Made my whole body tingle. Rosie's like, I've never seen you so relaxed before. And I was like, new friend. Need friend at home like that. Just saying.
Did you tell Rosie that's the next school she's going to?
Right. Yeah. So now I have 4 needles still stuck in each ear.
Mm.
And I'll have those for 3 or 4 days. And they're tiny, tiny. I mean, they sit underneath the Band-Aid. That's how small they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're apparently in spots that control pain throughout your body.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, man, it's magic, and I'm okay with that.
So I'll say this, people that don't think that things like acupuncture actually work, try this. It's better if you have a significant other that scratches your back for you.
Yeah.
But have you ever noticed that when Rosie's scratching your back in one area, you feel it in another?
Uh-huh.
It's the same thing. It's the weirdest doggone thing.
Yep. I'm telling you. So I am now set up to go every other Wednesday starting sometime in April. Most of it will be this, what they call battlefield acupuncture. And some of it will be the full deal body thing that she was doing, which was, oh my God, amazing. She didn't have any of those appointments until I think she had one in April and then not till July after that. Cause And apparently this lady works on 2 people. She keeps 2 rooms running at the same time. And she's very in demand. And I got to tell you, man, relaxation. Bless you. Okay, so what's going on in chat? I got a whole half day off today.
I'd have played hooky today for half the day.
No fires to pee on. That's
He
fantastic.
just said,
Ida.
screw it, I'm out.
Right? And Chris, that comment right there, for that, I will be calling you in May. Thank you. That comment he said right there. Look, don't worry, Charlie. Nobody in Phoenix answers the phone or calls back either.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like you right now.
Charlie does this thing where he puts his phone on do not disturb because he's taking a nap and then forgets to take it back off.
Look, that happens a lot. Look, I wonder if my phone's even turned up right now.
There was one point in the last 2 weeks, I can't remember when it was, but you were incommunicado for over a day, and it was because of that.
Look, I don't know if you can see this. All my volumes are down except for my Bluetooth headset. That's from when I went to the doctor, when I walked in her office earlier. See, I forget things, man. My dog is smarter than Trump. That's what somebody posted. Jeff sent me that picture, and they spelled THEN, and I giggled a lot. Probably way inappropriate, the amount of giggling I did on that one. And then he sent me another one. And here, look. And then he sent me another one. For such an advanced species, their cable management is terrible. It's a Borg. Oh my God, dude, that one that one lit me up too, Jeff. I'm like, right? I know. Look, I freak out over cable management. Yet I'm terrible at it. So my wonderful desk here literally has this big tray in the back with a lid that closes. So it looks great. If you open that tray, it's a rat nest, but you can't see it, so it's not there.
So I actually believe that electronics cables are sentient.
Yeah,
they are.
Hello, Fran.
There was one time where I spent a lot of time with cable management on my entertainment center years ago. It was beautiful, man. Zip tied, the whole 9 yards. I go out on the road for 3 weeks. I come back and it's all freaking tangled up.
Fran has a question. Does Swift pay empty mile to look for trailers on percentage? Not typically. I wouldn't expect it. Sometimes you can get them to do it. You know, I get it. I understand the question, and it sucks.
How bad is the empty trailer searches?
It depends where you're at, from what I'm hearing. Some places are way worse than others.
From what I hear from some of my friends, that Freight Box app is pretty much useless at this point.
Yeah, right. And dude, you and I saw how cool that was at first.
Yeah, I was using it all the time,
and it was awesome. But yeah, Fran, I mean, that's the best answer I got right now. There's nothing contractual which will make them pay you for it, especially on the percentage board.
You could do, yeah, but on the board though, you could just pick live loads and unloads.
Yeah. In fact, I loved that when I was doing lives because they were fabulous. I just kept the same damn trailer.
I can tell you this from my experience with it. People have told me that Swift Logistics loads have been showing up on the percentage board now.
Yep.
So those of you that are afraid of live loads and unloads, don't be afraid of those on a Swift Logistics load. You get treated completely different at customers.
It's weird
when you're on Swift Logistics. I think the longest I was in a dock on a Swift Logistics load was maybe 90 minutes.
Right. So, Fran, if they're on the load board, though, especially on the percentage, I mean, that rate is what your rate is. I mean, it's an all-in rate. Yeah, I mean, And a lot of those loads are, in excess of $2, $3 a mile. So, I mean, keep that
Well,
in
I'm
mind.
wondering too. So there used to be that thing at Swift, and again, full disclosure, I haven't been there for 2 years at this point. But they wouldn't even give you an empty solution unless you had a load.
Right.
Is that still a thing? Because the way I would work the load board is I would make sure that I was ready to work.
Yeah.
Have an empty trailer before I even go bid
Right.
on a load.
But there is
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of drop and hook on the board now for what I'm seeing too. So that's
Mm.
kind of cool as well. I mean, there's a lot of drop and hook from what I've seen and been told and everything else. So, I mean, Chris and Craig could chime in on this. And again, by the way, anybody's welcome to pop in. If you click the link at the top, the pin link should be a link right into the studio. We're glad to have you pop in and chat it out if that's what you'd like to do. I think it's cool. Yeah. On regular loads, I get them. I get them to pay me to go trailer hunting. I'll go look for the first one kind of on my own time. After that, I ain't moving unless I'm getting paid miles for it or, something along those lines. So I've had kind of crazy arguments at times where I'm like, I'm not moving, bro. Either you guarantee me there's a trailer there and pay me the miles to get to it, or I'm not moving, or I'm driving home. They're like, bro, you're in North Carolina. You live in Florida. This is literally the last one that happened. And I was like, bye. He's like, no, there's one here. And I said, ping it. Show it to me pinged on your map. He didn't do it. I drove from North Carolina, bobtail, all the way to Florida. And he was messaging me on the way home, and it was hilarious, but whatever. I look, we're running businesses, right? Sometimes you can be a little forceful. Other times it's better to be more civil or politically correct, which I really struggle with. Let's be real. I do fairly well if I stop and think about it, but when I get crazy tired, man, there is no filter and it is over. There are no F's to be given. You dig? I mean, I've got so very few when I start a week, to be honest. I don't have like this, barren of F's or this field of F's because my field is barren, right? I only get a couple a week and I can only give out so many. Just saying. But yeah, no, on the regular loads, they're still paying that stuff as far as I know. I mean, I haven't. Yeah. And if people aren't getting paid for it, I would half expect that they're not asking for it. They're not pushing the issue, Yeah, exactly. Fran, put it on the damn tablet so I can see it, that's business. So, I mean, and we don't even have to be like, yeah, Craig said no pay looking for empties, on the percentage board, which is fine. I mean, seriously, depending on what's going on. And a lot of time these guys already have empties. I mean, Craig, Chris, you guys could, by all means, step up and say something here on that one. But from what I'm hearing and seeing, most of the time, they're dropping and hooking, they pick up an empty and they move on to the next one. So hasn't been a huge problem for like the guys that I follow. Oh my God, he only puts up with me because of my true love for Rosie. Whatever, you love me more. You just don't want to get beat up by anybody. If I wasn't old, you'd want to touch my butt and buy me tacos. I'm just saying. Was that inappropriate?
So you're gonna have to call yourself tomorrow because you're your own HR person.
Damn it, that's an HR one. Dang it.
Yep.
That was your comment on Fly Rabbit. Yeah. Because somebody went 100 miles with no pay. No. That's no. I mean, if it's deadhead miles, that's different on the percentage board. Because like I said, it's just an all-in rate. So, you plan accordingly, right? And you make
Mhm.
sure that those miles are still paid well. F rabbit. Sorry. But
Hey, Narc, you put an extra O in your name.
I see what you did there. Oh man, that took me. You totally blocked. I was like, no, bro, there's 2 O's. Good God.
Oh, if Rosie was in charge of HR, Chris, Charlie would
Nobody
be
make that.
fired.
Don't.
Charlie
No.
would have been fired a long time ago.
Yeah. Because I would have been fondling the HR lady, and I mean, how does that going to end?
See, in my house, I'm in charge of HR because if it was the other way, because that way I can give a talking to the Donna when she's inappropriate, which is all the time.
Right? Careful. I saw how carefully you were moving through those words, and there she is. There. See, I was waiting for that one. Yeah, go ahead. Keep talking, smart guy. Go ahead. What could happen? That's great.
So I've got one that might be a decent topic, Charlie.
Yep.
This is from that one Facebook group that I keep telling you about.
Yep.
Guy says there are steering wheel holders out there who want more money, but they don't even have a 3/8 wrench, 9/16 wrench, flathead screwdriver, and hammer.
That's a fair statement.
And boy, the comments just lit this guy up.
Really?
I ain't working on no truck for free, this, that, and the other thing. And those of us that pointed out, so here's my opinion, you guys can chime in. There are things like trailer lights, even minor electrical and airlines that I can get done and down the road way before I get a bay and a TA.
Right.
So, you're not going to get paid anyway, right? Regardless, because that's just the way the industry is.
Right.
So would you rather sit there for 2.5 hours waiting for an on-road truck or a spot in a bay? Or would you rather get your flathead screwdriver out and fix the problem?
I may or may
down
not
the
have
road.
been known and seen on several occasions on Swift yards, changing the top corner marker lights. And people asking me, why are you up there and how did you get up there? And get down. And I'm like, you shut up. Are you going to fix it? No. Well, then you shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I want to work, man. I don't want to sit here doing this nonsense. But if, that's what it takes. I mean, okay, not so much now. I'm not climbing up on a trailer now because look,
You'll fall off.
bad. Yeah.
Come on, Narc. Nobody has a 10 millimeter. Nobody.
Right.
They just they exist that long.
They're magic. Good Lord. That's like a 1/2 inch. That one, I can't keep a 1/2 inch.
But there was a time I was up in North Dakota at a pilot, and I restrung wire on the entire passenger side of the trailer.
That was an interesting movement. I'm not going to say why.
It doesn't matter why. And I did that. It took me about 45 minutes to restring wire, get everything working again. The alternative in North Dakota, Charlie, they could get to you tomorrow.
Right. Right.
Because let's face it, unless you're an oil field worker out there, you are nowhere near a priority.
Dude, like for real, it's like, oh my gosh, man. I used to keep spools of wire, some 12 or 14 gauge. In fact, I used to keep 12 and 14 gauge for different lights. And long spools of multiple colors so that I could determine which is which and keep things separate, right? Trying to help the next guy after me that is like, why? Oh, okay, this makes sense, right? Just trying to say. Yeah, man, look, if it keeps you going, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. I mean, you could sit there as a business owner for hours making zero revenue, or you could spend an hour doing it yourself.
Right.
And then making revenue. I mean, at one point, I carried a jack and all the tools I needed to change tires on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Never did it, but I still own all the tools to do it. Just saying. Yeah, God, that breaks my brain. Happy birthday, Tim. Tim's turning 47 tomorrow.
All right.
You baby.
Matt says he's got a roll of DOT reflective tape on the truck even.
I used to. I bought it off of like, an online place. I had this giant roll, and man, I'll tell you what, it never stuck to anything.
Yeah.
I could put it on brand new clean glass and it would not stick to it. It was the worst adhesive I've ever seen in my life. So I had this massive, like 500-foot roll. Useless.
Mm-hmm. It's been a couple of years, but I picked up a trailer at the Walmart DC here in Tooele. Sealed trailer, missing a mud flat and a hole in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I did, Charlie? I went to the
mud
TA.
flat. Oh.
I went to the TA. I bought a mud flat.
Right.
Now, Swift paid for it, by the way, because this was right after they started doing that electronic payment thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just went in and told them what you needed, and they'd sell it to you. And I can't remember how many inches it was, like 6 inches of that trailer tape.
Right.
Look up the holes.
Yeah.
That's like freaking $10 a foot, by the way.
Yeah, that stuff's no joke. You're talking about that thick, foily stuff with the
Yeah.
crazy tar adhesive.
I called Donna and I said, "Meet me at the truck stop with the ladder." And I repaired that stuff, and I was on my way.
Right.
Because the West Valley City terminal, this was during COVID.
Right.
So there was nobody there. The TA, they had one tech that actually showed up to work that day.
Good
and they
Lord.
had 10 trucks ahead of me. So you know what? Did I like it? No. I didn't like getting up on the side of that trailer. But what was I going to do? Wait until 2 days from now when I could get in?
Right.
You know? And that's what a lot of these younger guys don't get. Sometimes you just got to do some stuff for yourself. Hey, that's a good idea, T-Bone.
Right.
I'm going to file that one away.
Caution tape, block off the fuel. I don't know, like it. Ida said, I've adjusted many sets of trailer brakes and used makeshift flamethrowers to unfreeze trailer brakes. I want to see some of these makeshift flamethrowers because I know Ida really well, I think. And I'm telling you that these would probably be very interesting at times.
I've never met Ida in person. Does she have big hair?
No.
Okay.
But that would be
what
funny.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. Right.
I actually bought one of those butane torches, not the ones that you smoke drugs with, but the big ones with the
yeah.
And especially when I was driving the 90 all the time, because up there it's so cold that if you make that mistake and you set your trailer brakes at all, guess what? They're stuck.
Yep, instant.
And
you can go, and you're like, oh crap! Try to push them in. Nope, it's done. The deed it's already happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're better off to fight it right then and there.
Yep.
It's only going to get worse, but whatever. The deed is done.
Yep. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting discussion. You got about half of the people saying, I ain't doing nothing, man. I ain't doing nothing unless I'm getting paid. And then the other people, the people I think are a little more sane.
Right.
Well, you're not getting paid to sit there for 5 hours waiting for a spot in the bay either.
Exactly. Or on the side of the road.
And
hoping some jack wagon doesn't drive into you.
You know, did it make you lose a load? How many miles could you have gotten down the road? Let's say it takes you an hour to do the repair yourself.
Right.
How far down the road could you have gotten in that other 4 hours?
For real.
You know, my mentor taught me back in the day, George, that trucking is like sewing. It's piecework. You're not getting paid by the hour for anything on an OTR operation.
Right.
It's piecework. So if you're a company driver, pedal to the metal everywhere you go. If you're an owner operator, you're worried about fuel. You got to worry about those expenses. So it's a little bit different, but it's still all piecework.
No, I just forgot. Sorry. Forgot to mute my mic again. My bad.
Narc was in and then he left.
Was he? There he is.
There he is.
I see a ceiling. I'm gonna put him up right there. Bam! Ceiling. Oh,
There you go. Is that better?
oh wait.
Are you in the
filming
bathroom?
a movie again?
No, I'm just busy season, right? I told you I'm traveling a lot this year.
Right.
I'm traveling. That's why I go to Matt.
I thought maybe you
Hotel
were
room,
making one of
baby.
those movies you used to make back in the day, just to pay the bills and stuff. The ones you don't talk about.
Yeah.
The ones that start with the music.
Right.
Wow. Oh, my bad.
Uh,
Hey,
yeah,
man.
travel
What's going
season
on,
for
dude?
me. Oh, nothing. I was just catching up, seeing what you guys are doing.
You've got some stories about people that could have fixed their stuff, and you actually had to go out and do it for them because they're silly. I know you do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What kind of stories do you want? You mean like people we might know, or you mean people that are just general
Hey, man.
drivers?
It's your story, bro.
Well, let's see. Well, how
God,
crazy you want it?
I apologize for Narc's mouth already.
I'll be good. I can tell you all kinds of crazy stories. You guys have all heard them in the truck stops, though. But
Right.
people that I literally. So the other day, I was just on the phone, and not knocking him, but with a guy that was having tire issues, right? And I was telling him we were talking about tire wear issues, and I was telling him that he's like, I thump my tires every morning. I was like, yeah, you got tires that are like out of pressure, right? And sure enough,
Right.
he called me. And he's like, yeah, well, I got a tire on my drives that's at 80, and the rest of them are at 100. It's like, yep, there.
Yeah.
That's easy stuff, right? But yeah,
Mhm.
if you're talking about like fixing stuff, yeah, there's lots of stuff that you owner op should be doing on your fucking own without paying for it, right?
Look, he couldn't do it. He couldn't not drop an F.
Sorry, without a freaking. Did I say an F word?
Oh, you dropped it deep, brother.
Donna says yes.
Unequivocally, yes. That's funny. Good Lord. Sorry.
Well, I've seen people go into a TA and ask for their wipers to be changed.
Right?
Yep.
Not buy
Hey,
wipers. I want you to change my wipers for me.
There's a guy in our NFG room that I'll tell you, is Team Tiny, right? Me and him. There's no ill will between us, but he owned a truck, made plenty of money, was a big fat ass, still is a big fat ass, right? 6'4", 400-pound guy, and he pays to get his wipers changed. And technically, not really, because he's not able to climb up on the tire because he's doesn't know how, didn't understand how to, right? Like, and it was because they were pinch style, right? So there's a little baby bolt, right, that goes through them.
Right.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's not an old truck, but older truck, right? Yeah, so he just didn't have any. Yeah, he didn't have a pair of pliers and a small screwdriver, right?
Failure in life. I'm sorry, in trucking.
Yep. I'm telling you, is if I would have, I think I've probably never said it on here, but how many years ago when I moved back up here from Louisiana, which was like 2012-ish, 2013-ish, is I worked on cell towers for a while, for like 2 years with a company. Obviously not doing anything truck related really. And then before I got into the mixer game, or the concrete game, I had a buddy that leased trucks, right? Like, I don't know if a lot of people know, but you can go to like Caterpillar and a lot, Case, and a lot of these bigger places will rent service trucks,
right?
Service equipment, and or mobile rigs, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He had 3 or 4. I think he had more than that, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And I rented a truck, but I had no game plan, right? I had no leads. I wasn't, in the trucking scene, at all. But I made plenty of money for 3 or 4 months just doing stupid shit, right? Like just prowling the fucking truck stops. You know, seeing guys out there doing, you know, with issues, dumb issues, right? Lights. And you know, I don't know if I would have had any intention of, I don't know, like getting a plan together and wanting to do, I mean, I would have just done light stuff, right? If you called me and it was something you were leaking fluid all out the bottom of your engine, then, you know, I'll pass you off. But if you need an alternator, right?
Yeah.
I'm your guy, right?
I totally thought about doing something like that. Cause you know, I'm kind of I'm not a complete wrench turner and I don't have any formal training, right? But I've had to fix a lot of my stuff because I've been broke a lot of times, right?
Yep.
And you learn by doing sometimes. I mean, I fumbled through quite a few things, even before the YouTubes, y'all. I'm just saying. You know, you're like, I think this thing's broken, so I'm gonna do this. And you try it, and sometimes it works, and sometimes you have extra parts.
Yeah, we've talked about it on here before, but there's plenty of people that don't know. Obviously, I mean, they don't. You know, I wouldn't expect the general public, right? Even a general trucker to be able to, you know, plug a lap or be at a shop and go through, you know, some kind of D-rate issue that was, that didn't glitch me. But anyways, and expect them to see all, you know, 12 codes pop up and understand what, you know, like what the, you know, reading them and all that stuff. But, I mean, you can make a killing just being out there and clear and check engine lights for people, right? Because most people don't know, right? They just don't want the check engine light on. So you can just plug into them and say, oh, injector pressure, you know, number 1 injector pressure under pressure, clear code. See ya, give me $150, right? Or now probably $300, right? Yeah. See ya, send them down the road. You never see them again. It's if you see them again, they're going to be broke down the road. So you know, they're not coming back. But
that call.
I mean, a lot of most shit now. I mean, you know, alternators are still alternators, right? The change on it. I just was reading and watching a thing about the S13, the new international motor that they're releasing. Oh my God, it's wild, dude. Really? I mean, I know it's wild. There's obviously a bunch of stuff about it, but dude, it looks like a space. It looks like a jet engine, right? Like it's got all the wires and all the while don't have the crossover pipe, right? That it's got the new after treatment system. It's wild. So, and like you can't, I was trying to identify general parts on it, and like the front of it doesn't look like an engine, right? It just doesn't. It's, you know, it looks like one of those Scanias, right? If you pull up a Scania and try to figure out how to work on it, right? Like it's just not a thing. But I mean, I don't know, you know, like I said, we've talked about it many times. It's kind of hard for anything that's 2016 and newer, maybe 2018 and newer, right? Most of the time it's computer related, or it needs a laptop anyways, right? If you if you lose an alternator, you're going to need a laptop with it. That's crazy for the most part. So that makes it harder. But I mean, you know, 2027 X15 still has, you know, 3 bolts for alternator, you know, 1/2-inch drive for the tensioner pulley, and and a 10 millimeter and what were we saying there? An 8 millimeter and a 10 millimeter, right? Actually, I think it's a plug now for the power wire, so it's, you don't even need anything for power wire. So people should be able to do that, right? Like I'm sure that's a $600 change without. No, it's probably $300 without the part. I bet that's $300 or $400.
TA one day, back when I was still working Walmart McClinney, Ida, that TA right there. I had to change the alternator in one of my trucks. I can't remember which one it was. So I walked inside and I asked him, you know, how long to do it? And they're like, it's probably going to be like 8 hours, bro. I'm like, do you have it on hand? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, can I buy it? He's like, sure, man. And I bought it. And I was out of there in an hour. And that's having never done one on a big truck before.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I was just, and not to throw names out, like, well, I won't even say names, but there's a certain someone, right? I think I sent you the link for the video that is literally got his paperwork done yesterday for a $250,000 bankruptcy claim for a semi truck he bought that he overpaid for, right? And it was a large car. And the whole reason that I mean, he'll tell you straight up and down that it was because of the market, but he bought it sight unseen. Found out after he bought it and drove it for 30,000 miles that it had been electronically deleted, right? The cheap way and the easy way, and then they turned it back on, right? Turned everything back on when they went to sell it.
Okay, I didn't know the link, but
which
I'm gonna guess. Is it
Yeah.
Bold or Best?
Yeah, it's Bulls.
Okay,
There's W9 if you're putting his name out there, and I'll say it's W9.
I'll put it out there.
But-
You don't have to.
Yeah. I fucking listen. I don't give a shit, but I just not for your show more than anything. But it doesn't matter, right? But he's an idiot, right? He was running in Alaska when he bought it. I'm not hating on him for buying the truck, but he overpaid for it for one. Did it sight unseen. Never called a mechanic to go look at it. Right? He bought it in the States. Bought it in Missouri or Minnesota, one of the M's. Right? Bought sight unseen. Right? If he would have paid any mechanic $200 to go to the dealership and plug into it, they would have immediately known that it had been electronically deleted, whatever you want to call it, right? For at some point, whether I don't know if he could get a time lapse on it or not, but at some point you know it's done, then you can run more tests. And because of that, it was in a constant derate the whole life of the truck. And I mean, and he way overpaid for it, right? So that's a hindrance to start off with. But I mean, if you guys, I mean, I think most people in your chat know, but if you're doing stuff like that, right, you're just running on a razor, right? I mean, legitimately, that's anything though, right? That's if you're going to buy a goddamn
$250,000 truck, man. You are making that edge very thin.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're screwing yourself, right? You're screwing yourself from the get go.
I don't know, bro. You buy sight unseen off the internet for a $5,000 or $10,000 truck, maybe 15 or 20, right? You're like, I know I'm buying, a headache, but I know that going into it. You don't no, man, 250, bro. That's complete insanity.
Yeah, and I'll add to it, right? Because I like trashing the guy. I think it's funny, but technically he paid 116. I think is what the actual price was for it. And he signed on because he didn't have the money and he didn't do any homework. He loaned with he leased it through a company, one of these I won't say their name, but one of these really predatory leasing companies. Right. And as soon as he signed the document, which he admitted to, is it went from they wanted the interest up front, and it was like a 21% interest rate. It was really high, 21, 22. So it went from 116 to 208 or something immediately with interest and taxes and all that stuff. So he immediately got a $80,000 jump on the truck, and knew nothing about it. Right. Knew nothing about it. So I mean, that's too much anyways. But if it would have been mechanically sound, and he could have drove it.
Right.
I mean, who's to say, right, where it'd be at? But
if he had a company he was going to that had good rates and was reputable, and you can clean those big ones, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I mean,
$200,000 truck as it is now, right? But I ain't keeping it, yo. Everybody knows I ain't keeping this thing. I'm renting a truck. That's my plan now. I used to be very big on don't rent, buy, right?
Right.
But at this point in my life, I'm not going to be doing this much longer. That's my plan, is to not be trucking in the next couple of years, right? So it's better for me in my model to rent, but I'm very aware of that, and I know what it costs.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it, right? And we've talked about the Freightliner, that the Gen 5 and stuff. I mean, look at the Volvos, right, that are out. All this stuff has went from sophisticated to uber sophisticated. And well, you know what? It doesn't matter. I can say this part. So part of the reason I'm out of town so much right now is because because I have my truck knowledge on top of the mixer knowledge, and we're sort of caught up, and it's that time of year where we're not super busy yet. Is I'm helping put together some new trucks, some new bulk haulers for our freaking company, and we do them over in Ohio because that's where they buy them out of, and they're freaking pack cars, and they have this Bendix system on them, and they have sensors on them that I don't understand. Like I don't know, like I mean you guys have all seen them, right? The lane assist and the auto drive and the freaking radar and all that stuff. But they got Cummins in them, right? They ain't got anything crazy engine wise. I guess there's not a lot of option, but these new Cummins are like dinosaurs compared to all the other stuff, right? This new S13 International engine's coming out. The new Freightliner engine, the Volvo engine, right? The Cummins is still a dinosaur. All this new stuff, right, is wild. I mean, it's like, it's only because they've taken it from Europe. They've taken all the cues from the Europeans and their crazy electronics and stuff they got on their motors going on, and they're bringing it over here. And I mean, Cummins is soon to follow, right? They're just
T-Bone said, and they need someone to put tires on them. Hey, Frank said, "Hey, Narc, what you think about deleted trucks? Good or bad?"
It's 50-50. Delete everything, right? Like all you're doing is choking your engine down, right? I know Fran probably knows that already. If you're running after treatment system, and you're sooting up your oil, you're doing all the things to hinder an engine from breathing, right? That you can, and you're destroying the internals with the soot that's in the oil. Right. But with that being said, is just like the Kenworth we were talking about a minute ago, right? Is his claim, don't know if there's any truth to it, right? I didn't see the truck, know the truck, don't care. Is when he bought it, it had around 400,000 miles on it. And his claim was that the single owner before him had deleted it under 10,000 miles. Now, I would never do an electronic delete, right? Like maybe that would be a starting point, but you're not really, I guess you're saving a little bit, but you're not really, because you're still running full EGR. You're still running everything through the pipes and through the SCR and and all the DOC and stuff. So you're still killing the restriction. But I mean, if you know the truck that's used that you're buying, delete that son of a bitch as soon as you get it, right? But if you don't know the history of it, it can be a hindrance too, right? It can. It's sad but true. Once they get used to running all choked out, and you open them up, and then you start having other issues. And vice versa, right? Like vice versa. If they've been deleted and for some reason you choke them back down, then you start having the same issues he was having, right? He was always having, mechanical issues, after treatment issues.
So he bought a truck. We'll call it $100,000, even though we know the plan.
Yeah, easy numbers. Yeah.
Let's say $110,000 with 400,000 miles on it. I'm just saying, I bought Chewy at 492,000 miles for $42,000 and put 1.8 million miles on her.
Yep.
It still runs.
Isn't that crazy?
Do you have a Series 60 in that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that helps too.
And so it was the first half of 2007. So no DPF. That was the year they were putting DPFs on them. So I got the big Series 60, no DPF with EGR. I put in this little barometric pressure sensor in, replaced
and repaired it.
Yeah, repaired it. And it told the ECM that I'm at 10,000 feet elevation. And because of that, the EGR, after the last time I had it replaced, I literally put that barometric pressure in that day. was never used again. So I mean that EGR that's in there right now has never had anything run through it. Just saying.
Oh, look, hey, I'm getting ready to go get some pizza, and I'm gonna block my camera out. But if it kicks out, I'll come back in a minute. But
All right, man.
I think, but honestly, if you're freaking, I don't know. I mean, if you're buying something that's got a Series 60 in it, or it's got a ISX in it,
Right.
and it's got some miles on it, I would delete that son of a bitch as soon as I got it. Right. And I know if you're running in Cali and whatever, right, there's some stipulations to some of that stuff just because, right? Because, but I would delete it. I don't care what the miles are on it. That would be my recommendation. But I would do a full delete, right? Like I would do the real deal. You know, I'd take the pipe, straight pipe everything, right? If you want to leave the box in and all that stuff. Right. I'd do a real delete on it. The electronic stuff where it just doesn't work. I don't know if you're helping it. I mean, I guess you are, because you're not dosing it and stuff, right? And you're not buying DEF, and you're not,
Right.
You know, those parts aren't going to go out technically, right? So you're not going to put a $700 knock sensor in it,
Right.
at any point, right? So you are saving on that end. So I guess there's something to be said for that, right?
Injector and all that nonsense.
Yeah, you're not worrying about seventh injector. You're not, you know. So I guess on that end, you're doing something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would do the full bore.
Yeah, and make sure you're running a crazy bypass filter system on is what I would say, just because of the soot and all that. You know, to keep that oil as clean as you possibly can, and you know whether you do extended drains or not, I mean, still, you know, if you're changing your oil every 50, 75,000, whatever it is that your thing is, depending on your operation, could be different, right? I would still run a really good bypass filter on it just to help keep some of that soot out there, because the soot is it's just sand, man. You're done.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I know. I mean, obviously, I say I know, but I'm sure as most people, right? We talk about this every time it came on. But I mean, if you're owning your own equipment and you've never had somebody take it into a Love's or wherever and had them pull some oil and give it to you, right? So you can look at. I mean, you don't know what it looks or smells like, right? You should do that, right? That's the thing. You put it on your fingers and see that it like goes in your pores, that you can't get it out, and how black and charcoaly it is, and how nasty it is. And that, I mean, if you have any common sense, you don't have to be engine mechanical wise, right? That should tell you right there how bad that is for your engine. And that's all soot, right? That's not Series 60 with no DPF on it, right? Like you can tell the difference. And yeah, like you said, it's like sandpaper, right? And it stinks, right? You can tell if you're changing oil on a big truck and, you know, and you're underneath of it, right? It stinks. It doesn't smell like burnt oil, right? It smells like, I don't even know what it smells like. It stinks. You get it on your shirt, it ain't never coming off, right?
You know, and people could actually, I know this is going to be crazy talk, send an oil sample into one of the reputable labs out there every now and again. I'm just saying that by itself will tell you all kinds of stuff that's going wrong with your truck. I'm just saying.
I mean, I know you guys are big on the Pittsburgh thing now, or at one time, right? Had old boy on. And you know, and I got in a big long spiel there for a while with, you know, truckers. Ran one of those bypass filters on his truck, and
you went away.
It's phone call after phone call.
There you are.
Anyways, you know, like, because just because he had that filter on it, right? He didn't get it tested, and he didn't test for the zincs and you know, and the pHs and stuff, because that's the whole point of that, right? That's the whole point of that thing is, I mean, so you're just wasting.
So get this,
and you're destroying your engine even more technically.
And that's exactly what Swift did back in the day. They actually bought some bypass oil filter systems, right? And they're like, yeah, we're going to give them a go because that sounds fantastic. We don't have to change, you know, oil for 100,000 miles or whatever, right? They literally never took samples, They never changed the oil, and every truck that they put a bypass system on, they blew every single motor. Every single motor they had one on, they blew, and they blamed it on
I
the
was
bypass.
on my 16. I was at about 140,000 mile drain interval on that truck consistently, and I would send an oil sample in every 15,000 miles.
Yeah, a lot of these places, obviously, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say this because they don't know, but they used to. A lot of these places used to do this shit for free, right? Because they want you to send in because you're going to use their services within, you know, Shell and Chevron and stuff. They'd send you the bottle and the little piece of paper to write on, and other than you paying, whatever the envelope charge was to send it in, and they'd call you and do a consult with you, and then tell you, hey, buy this additive, buy this, and this, right, and start putting this in. I mean, that was the whole reason for it. It wasn't. I mean, on their end, I guess it was motor life, but it was more for they could help you sell additives to you, right?
Hey,
So,
Narc,
I mean,
I'd ask a question. She said someone told her that an engine creates memory from the way that you drive it in the first 100,000 miles. Is that true? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, to an extent, right? Because if you're a guy, a person, sorry, Ida, if you're a female super trucker out there, and fucking, you do the 55 mile an hour club everywhere, right? And you don't rev over 2,000 RPM, no matter what you're doing. And then, you sell it to somebody like me that doesn't know how to drive and, maxes out everything.
Right.
I would say that engine is you're going to have some turmoil. Because I think it's broke in, right? It's broken, it's broken to understand, bearings and stuff, movements and temperatures and whatnot. I think that's probably a real thing. Nowadays, that's more of a real thing because of the computers, right? They say, like the transmissions will learn you, but I mean, they don't relearn after unless you clear everything out, right? Like they learn what they learn, and then
they keep that history, right?
Well, what I've observed with the auto shifts, and I think you and I discussed this, Charlie, is that it recognizes when I'm
worries about that, like the computers, the transmission shift weird and stuff.
He's back to his weird signal. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, sorry. Like I said, I'm driving, and they just had some bad storms here. I'll be back in a minute if I'm out. In and out.
But yeah,
it's funky here.
So what I was saying, Narc, is that on the auto shifts, what I've noticed is that the computer recognizes when I'm heavy and when I'm light. And it takes probably what, Charlie, 2 or 3 stops and then takeoffs, and it'll adjust which gear it starts in.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if my signal's that good or not, but for anybody that's running new, like the Eatons, like an 18-speed Road Ranger, most of the Eatons is, if you take it to a shop, right, they don't want to do this because it takes a long time and you got to stand over as a driver over the mechanic, but you can go into like Eaton and they have like 34 different personal settings on those transmissions, right? Even the older ones, right? I think 2018 is when they started that in the Eatons for the Road Rangers and all the speeds, the 10s, the 13s, and the 18s. Because that's when, and the new ones are even, I think there's even more on the new ones, on like the 2023s when they did the next gen, the new gens. Maybe it's 2022 when they started the new gens. But neither here nor there is, I guarantee you that, freaking Meritor and all these other, Volvo and them do that. But you can go tell them that, hey, I want to go through and do my start gears, and do my downshifts and how it skips, right? And you can do there's custom performance, eco. There's all kinds of hill. You can do your hill assist. I mean, there's literally like 34 or 38 settings that you can go through and personalize. And, I mean, obviously if you ain't got a laptop, you can't be playing with them. But, if you're somewhere where you go home every couple of weeks, right. And you can pay somebody to go and, hey, let's do this and see where we're at.
Well, that was what we were so excited about with the new Volvos, which our experience with them was not great with the people that we know that have them.
Right.
But the ability to change settings on the fly if you have contact with the Volvo through the cell tower network.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna be listening.
Charlie, you want to roll commercial real quick?
Oh yeah, we'll be right back, y'all. I knew that.
I got to order my dinner real quick.
All right. You're either running your business like an owner or like an employee. And if you're stuck in that employee mindset, you're leaving money on the table. Company drivers wait for direction. Business owners create opportunities. Company drivers chase miles and just drive. Business owners chase profits and know their numbers. Want to run a real business? Start tracking your numbers. Know your cost per mile and start saying no to bad loads. Drop "I run a business" in the comments if you're done thinking like an employee. If you want to take this mindset shift further, join the Road Warrior Entrepreneurs community at www.rwedrive.com, where we have profit boosting strategies, coaching calls, and real road warriors winning together. Hey, Narc, you there? Nope. Yeah, so craziness, just saying. He's getting pizza. Jeff went to go get his food or something. And that's cool. I was gonna say there's like a bunch of tornado warnings. I just saw a notice from Max Velocity, who, by the way, like, that's my go-to weather dude. Just saying. Love that guy. Kid. He's a man, I guess, but damn, he's just a baby. But yeah, there's like tornadoes popping up all over the place apparently. A bunch of warnings up in Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania. So if you're out there in those areas, y'all be careful. Seriously, get you a good weather band radio on so you're paying attention to what's going on. Yeah. Yes, T-Bone. Would you like a coaching call? Oh, I love it. I'm sure Narc did see that eye roll, Ida. I'm sure of it. Oh my God. Oh. I clicked the screen and it went full screen while all the windows were swapping. I think I just had a stroke.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh,
just a look on your face.
It hurt, bro. My brain stopped. It was like Greer, Oklahoma, severe thunderstorm warning going on right now. Rome, New York. Good God.
So when I got home yesterday, Charlie, it was 78 degrees.
Yeah.
It's calling for snow on Friday.
Makes perfect sense. The world is broken, and that's just how it's going to be.
So whoever's actually doing the chemtrail thing,
yeah,
I have a request. Can you give the weather some Xanax? That'd be great. Because it is totally like bipolar right now.
Oh my God.
You know. Yeah, I basically got chased by a storm for a whole week. You know, I had one of those rare weeks where I was actually working every single day.
Right.
Great week, by the way. But anyway, I was getting chased by that storm out of the Northeast because it kept coming south.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna throw this up just for fun.
So I
don't get in trouble for this one.
What's really fun is when you go from having your winter pants and all that stuff, because I've got the super heavy pants and shirts and stuff for the wintertime.
Right.
To shorts and a t-shirt in like 3 days.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. Yeah, so that dude's live right now, by the way. If you guys don't know who this is, Max Velocity. Love this kid. He is amazing with the weather stuff.
Did he graduate yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He is a legit meteorologist now. I'm just
nice.
Saying. Yeah, degree
proud of that kid. I don't know him, but I'm proud of him.
Yeah, and I think he's like 11 right? I'm just saying. At least I can't help it. I'm old. I'm not slighting him at all. I hope nobody thinks that. Good for him. Yeah, this dude right here, you should like check him out. I mean, you can throw him on your phone and don't necessarily have to watch the videos, but you could dang sure listen to him because the dude. Look, we had a crazy outbreak last year, and I knew exactly where all the tornado pieces were popping up around me, and I was literally getting chased from the top of Alabama down to the bottom of Alabama and then across Florida. It was weird, but I knew exactly where they were and where I was, and it all worked out because I dodged every one of them, and I was happy about that. But check this dude out, Max Velocity. You can find him there on the YouTubes. Since I put his video up, I really should link his channel. Am smart and figure out how to do that. I'll do that. Can I?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, welcome back. I wonder if I click share
busy, bro.
and copy and then put it over here in our show. There's a link for Max Velocity. Love that dude.
So you watch Max Velocity? Are you like Max Velocity? Do you follow Ryan Hall? Oh, throw out names.
You got to pick one or the other, right?
I know. That's why I was asking. I didn't know if you floated back because I'll float, but Ryan Hall annoys me. So I'll watch Max. He doesn't annoy me as much, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
What I really enjoyed about Max, you remember Charlie when I was down there when you guys were having that big hurricane, I was trying to get out. What I really liked about Max's channel was just like you see here, he's got the live stream from all of his friends that are storm chasers, and I just find that fascinating.
Right, that and listening to him pronounce town names is the most amazing. I swear he can't pronounce the town name to save his life, and I love the kid for it. I'm just saying. Good Lord.
So since you used the word outbreak, Charlie, that triggered me.
Jeff's triggered. Watch out, y'all.
There's a new outbreak of COVID going on right now. The cicada strain.
Oh, so it's noisy.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's been found in like 20 states or something like that.
Jeez.
So yeah. What's interesting is at this point with the COVID virus, Charlie, like people have figured it out, right? So nobody's really all that scared anymore. It's just like, oh, I might have COVID. Maybe I better lay down for a couple of days.
Right.
You know.
I mean, look, I get the people who have like immune compromised stuff.
Well,
you know.
So we have mutual friends, Charlie, that are kind of anti-vax a little bit. And I'll get on there and comment on some of their stuff about the COVID vaccine.
Right.
Because they'll post something like, weren't we all supposed to be dead that didn't take the jab?
Right.
And I'm like, well, but I love you, but wasn't I supposed to be dead by now from taking it?
Right.
No, I mean,
look, I'm mad that I took it. I did not want to take it.
I know you didn't.
But I figured if it was going to kill Rosie, I mean, because I literally got the same dose out of the same vial that Rosie got.
Mm-hmm.
And she was doing it because she wanted to still be able to go see her dad, who's, older and susceptible and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, dang it. If she dies, I'm going with her because that's how I am.
So in true Jeff fashion, you know how I get people to do business things before I do them to see how they turn out? You guys were my guinea pigs on the vaccine.
Right.
Because remember, you guys got it like 3 weeks before I did.
Yeah, yeah. Jeff's like, hey, did you die yet? Did your arm fall off?
So for me, it was about my type 2 diabetes, and that because of that, I am immunocompromised, and I still wanted to work. And I, unlike other people, I have some resources for information.
Right.
One of my best friends from college, his brother worked on the original RNA vaccination project. And I was able to get him on the phone, and he explained to me exactly how this thing worked. And the dude's a scientist, and he's like, look, man, they're calling it a vaccine. That's a stretch.
Right.
It's an RNA. It's freaking going to rewrite your genetic code, and we can make it do any number of things. In this case, it is protect you against COVID.
How scary is that, though? I mean, like,
It's
legit.
a little bit, but talking to him though, and this might be interest to everybody. So that vaccine was actually being developed as a cure for cancer.
Good Lord.
That's what they were trying to do with it. Kind of interesting, but because it's programmable, that's why the vaccine came out so quickly, is because it's programmable. Interesting, kind of scary a little bit. You're right about that.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I got the vaccine and 2 boosters, and then I quit doing them.
Yeah.
Because I started reading the news, and the one that was killing everybody
Right.
is gone. So who cares at this point?
I did one and then the boost, and then I was over it. I'm like, yeah,
But-
why?
But I got sick from that vaccine.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the other thing I learned is the sicker you got, Charlie, the more likely that you were protected.
Right.
So like I had the 102-degree temperature, freaking the whole 9 yards.
Look, Rosie and I were stuck in bed, crawling to the bathroom when we had to go pee and stuff, right? Couldn't get out of bed to make food. It was 14 or 21 days. I can't remember which it was. It was horrible, and we legitimately thought we were dying. And this was, mind you, if we go back to when this happened to Rosie and I, we had just flown through a bunch of major airports where we had to get out into the population, transfer planes, sit in the lobbies. And it was just when it was coming out of China and hitting the States, allegedly. We hit all of the hotspot hubs for airports on that trip to Oregon and back. And when we came back on the plane, I was already dying. I got out, we got into the car, and we had a 2-hour drive home from Tampa. I literally was so bad that I wanted to pull over on the side of the toll road and just lay down on the concrete. I hurt and felt so bad. We barely made it home. And if we never got a true COVID test, but there's nothing else it could have been. Let's just be real.
Right.
And
that was back when it was
COVID test. We would have been the first case in Florida reported.
And that was the deadly strain too.
Yeah. And that doctor went out of his way not to give us a COVID test when we did finally get to a doctor.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was not having
part.
it because we're in a tourist town.
Oh, right.
Right. And he did not want it to be listed in Citrus County in Crystal River, Florida. Oh, bro. He was like, no, you guys don't have COVID. You have the flu. Now you have pneumonia. Yeah. No testing. Yeah. Anyhow, whatever. That was gnarly back then.
So, one of the differences when I moved to Utah from Oregon, like in Oregon, that whole ivermectin thing and all that stuff. No, right. That doesn't work. That's Trump. Right. I moved to Utah and get my doctor here in Utah. And that's when the first thing he says is, so, if you do test positive for COVID, let me know right away because I'm going to prescribe you ivermectin and a Z-Pack.
Ivermectin. Yeah.
He's like, it absolutely works. I don't care what people say.
I kept recommending Clorox or gasoline, and nobody was willing to try that one.
Hey, so back to trucking a little bit.
Trucking.
You're good.
Rutherford posted something interesting today.
Oh, boy.
Right.
I wanted to get your guys' take on this. Let me see if I can find his exact words here.
It's wrong. I can just tell you that right now.
So he says, I'm just going to read some of it because I don't want to misquote the man. There's a lot of confusion right now about DEF emissions and new rule changes, and truck drivers are already getting it wrong. And he's promoting today's episode, right? Here's the truth, and he lists a couple things. DEF is not going away. Deletes are still illegal.
Right.
And ignoring D rates could cost you $15,000 to $20,000 of repair. He says what has changed is that there's a basically they're getting rid of the sensor that we all have problems with. the low quality depth sensor.
Right.
Yeah.
Just going with pure, just doing NOx sensors. That's their solution. What do you think about that, Narc?
All right. So I actually have some stuff. So across the pond, as it were, right? Across the pond, as it were. Make sure I don't have anything here. We can go back on camera now. Why won't it? There's new options on here. I don't like them. They can change the camera view. That's wild. Anyways, so for the most part, and I know you stupid truck drivers out there don't know this, but
yes.
Sorry, I forgot I'm not on my channel, so I can't call everybody stupid. T-Bone, I can call T-Bone stupid. Which, by the way, before we get into this, I just want everybody, let's see here. So I got a piece of cannoli cake. Can you see that? There's a piece of cannoli cake. I'm not going to show the name of this place because it will tell where I'm at. It says David's Cookies, but this is an Oreo cheesecake cookie.
Oh my!
And then I got some.
Can you stop?
Piece of tiramisu. And just
God.
FYI, if anybody ever wants to, get some really good advice from me, all you got to do is I have sweet tooth from hell, right? And I'm on the road, so no one can tell me I can't have 3 pieces of cake every night.
Right.
Which is
my pancreas.
yeah, right. Plus a marguerite pizza with extra ricotta on it, right? Wood fire,
Nice.
by the way. So anyway, so that's so we're going to what they do in Europe for the most part, right? Like that's, I guess, the best way to phrase it is this is how they run that's why their after treatments in Europe are not, I mean, obviously, most people know, right? Their engines are a little different. But that's what they've always done out there is their DEF has been, their after treatment system has not been so, what's the word? So particular on stuff. If that's the right way to say it.
Right.
It hasn't, it's not many sensors, right? So it's basically just a filter that catches soot, and when there's enough soot in it, it sprays a catalyst in there, DEF, right? And burns the soot out. And they don't really care about they do, they have NOx sensors and stuff, but they don't check for all the other crap that we do, right? The differential pressures and the freaking quality sensors and all that crap. And I think it's going to be better. What I think though is probably going to be the end. So we talked about the S13, the new international engine. If anybody goes and Googles, I think there's a YouTube channel based. Well, I know there's an international YouTube channel, right? But I think there's a couple channels that broke down the after treatment system for the S13 because all these companies are going to, because all the rules have lightened up, so they're modifying their engines or putting out new engines that that are less. What's the word? They're less restrictive on how the after treatment system works.
Right.
So they're just basically just burning soot, right? They're not checking a bunch of stuff. They're just trying to pull some soot out.
Right.
And when it gets to be clogged, then they burn the soot off, and they don't worry about if it's burning at the right temperature and if it's burning enough of it off and the ash load and all this other crap. They're just burning the soot off, and they don't really care, right? What is making it burn, right? If you could figure out a formula to put in there that wasn't DEF, right? That you could create your house, then their systems would work like that. I have a service truck, had a service truck at my shop. That was mine. The first one I was in that it's still sitting there is when it's below 32 degrees is the quality sensor goes haywire in it.
Yeah.
And it wants a new module and all this crap for like $4,000. And so we just don't drive it when it's winter out. And it's all because of the quality sensor.
Right.
Right. And there's no fix to it except putting a new module in it and new quality sensor and all the crap with it. And it works fine as long as it's above like 34. Well, as long as the depth's above 34 degrees. And it doesn't matter. Like, so if it sits overnight and, and it's a 20 in the winter, it's 20 degrees. Even though, you start your truck and coolant starts running through and warm the DEF up, it's already tripped. and we tried all the because I like that truck better than the truck I got now.
Yeah.
It was older. It was bigger. It had cab and a half, to single cab, and it had a bigger crane on it. And we tried all the tricks, wrapping it in foil, putting heat blankets on it at night. Like, I tried, doing all the stuff, and it didn't matter, right? The quality sensor tripped every time. We tried fooling it. Oh, we bought a box, a isolator box. You didn't hear this. This is allegedly doesn't happen. You guys can't go find these on the internet. But an isolator box, right? That tricks the system to saying that everything's good and it's up and running.
Right.
But it doesn't, it basically does an electronic def delete that you just can plug in and unplug which we use them to get trucks home. They're perfectly legal if you get pulled over with one, if you can prove that you're getting a vehicle home or a piece of equipment home.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it wouldn't do any of that. So I mean, I think it's gonna be better. What I think is gonna end up happening though is that they're gonna do what America does, is everybody's reinventing the wheel right now to make more efficient, right? Make more efficiency, make a better, less restrictive DEF after treatment system that is right on the guidelines. And it's going to be like this S13 motor. It's going to be like the Volvo motor. It's going to have so many bells, so many electronics on it that it's going to be an electronic bug, right? Gremlin forever. And you will have to have somebody that knows what's up to plug into it to figure out what the hell's going on. And I'm not that guy. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So do you think that the older trucks that still have the quality sensor, is there going to be a workaround for that with the new standards? Because that quality sensor is the bane of our existence on this truck.
Yep. Well, so, and I assume, and I say, I'm not speaking on this like I really know, but so from my understanding, right, and you guys actually in the chat, and Jeff and Charlie, you probably know, but is they don't technically ever test for, like, you don't go anywhere, like say California. I know California does carb and stuff like that. They don't ever test your DEF, right? Do that? I mean, I know they can test your DEF, but do they ever test for like exhaust output, wallets, dosing, or they don't do any of that stuff right now, do they?
I don't know.
That you know of, like on the fly. I mean, I'm not talking about like a yearly inspection or something. So
no, the only place I've ever been where I've had an emissions test at a weigh station, Jersey.
Makes sense.
Well,
New Jersey, why not?
Yeah, right. So my assumption would be that all the older stuff, no one, like they're not, I mean, no one's going to try to reinvent the wheel with it. All they're going to do is figure out a way to do some kind of light delete, right, where it's still legal in the eyes of the law. If that makes any sense, that's not even, I'm saying that, like, I don't even know what that would be, but like somehow that they could, somebody will come out with something, right, that can go around the quality sensor, fool it, like one of these isolators. That would be my guess, right? And it would still be legal because you don't have to run one anymore, right? I would assume they would get grandfathered in and be like, oh, you're supposed to have a quality sensor on this. Oh no, the new law allows us not to, because I know that DOT officers and stuff they don't know what any of that is anyways, right? They just know if you got a light on. Or if you ain't got no DEF fluid in your DEF tank, then they know the quality sensor ain't working, I would assume, right? So I don't know. I would say it's 50-50, but my guess is that they won't do anything. Everybody's just, I mean, Rutherford's right, because everybody just thinks that you can delete trucks now and it's legal.
Oh my God, Narc said Rutherford was right. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Clip it.
Look, I like Rutherford. When I was big into Twitter a year and a half ago or so, and he held a space like once a month,
right?
Me and him went back and forth a few times, like, and talked maintenance and stuff. And he had like Joe Morrow in there, and like we talked maintenance and all that stuff. I like him. I think like anybody that gets big, is he loses his audience, and he focuses on stuff that's not.
Right.
I mean, he means it to be for the everyday person, but it's not. You know, it's not for the everyday person, right?
Right.
I mean, it's not. You know, it's like, you know, the guy I was talking about too about the tires. I turned him on. I told him to go find Joe Morrow's stuff with the Continental and stuff about his tires, about, you know, all his tire tests and stuff. But the normal person isn't gonna. I mean, he's doing it for you, but the normal person isn't gonna do all the stuff he does anyways, right? Like the normal person isn't gonna check the air in all 10 of the tires every morning, right, and evening for that matter, and see what they are when they're hot, right? So that gets out of, you know, the daily trucker
Right.
deal, anyways. I mean, you know, it's good information, but I mean, you know, there's only a few randos that's gonna ever do that. Right?
Sean said that at Matt's that PDI tuners said they're working on a bypass option for sensor.
There you go. So,
You know,
like I
think
said,
Fenway can come out of the woodwork on this.
if you Google after treatment isolator, you will come up with a bunch of boxes. That's what it is, and then you buy the box that fits. Like, so for Cummins, which for anybody who doesn't know, Cummins after treatment systems is what Detroit ran up until 2022, right? From like 2012 to for 10 years is, if you peeled the stickers off the little Detroit emblem after treatment modules and stuff, they were Cummins. They were stamped Cummins. And I only know that because mixer trucks, right, is when you buy mixer trucks, you can get Detroit's, DD12s, or DD13s, whatever it is. And yeah, DD13s and Cummins X12s, or 15s or DD15s, right? But you can only get two options. And the after treatments were exactly the same. They were just mounted on opposite sides because of the engine manufacturer. And this is the same way in the trucks too. They didn't have their own deal. Is you buy them for the plug, right? Cummins runs it's a 4-pin, it's a 6-pin plug, but it only has 4 pins in it. Some of the newer trucks have 5 because they have a heater. They have a heater element pin in there to tell if the heater's on, the preheater or whatever. But you just make sure you have the right pin, or you buy, you know, if you don't want to rewire it, right, you can just buy the pigtail that makes it work. But yeah, so PDI, so there you go. So yeah, because this is something they can do now. They've all done this, right? I mean, that's what an electronic delete is, right? I mean, they did this during the pandemic, right? You're just talking about the pandemic when PACCAR went and was allowed to, you know, turn off because they couldn't, because of the, you know, nationwide shortage. They were allowed to go in electronic. That's what they did, right? They just turned everything off. You know, just like that truck we were talking about earlier. That's what they did. They just electronically deleted it.
That was detrimental to those motors over time?
I think it is, because just like his is, because what I think if you leave it, like if you do it, you know, you're keeping the truck until the fucker blows, right, or until you sell it,
right?
I think that when you get hit, I think when you hit that 500,000 mile and stuff, is because even if you put holes in the filters, right, and do all the stuff so it flows and it doesn't collect soot, is everything still flowing in that direction?
Right.
And you're still have the restriction. I mean, unless you 100% take it all out, there's still a restriction, and so I think over time, obviously it's not as bad. I don't think. Like I said, you're never going to buy an $800 or $600 NOx sensor and have some dumb mechanic put it in for $300, right? In your lifetime. In the same way, you're never going to buy a def header. You know, so I mean, on that end, you know, it's what is it? A cost analysis, right? A long term. That's, you know, what you business bookworms do. Figure out like a long term cost analysis on it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, you know, you can't just do it and think it's going to be great, because, I mean, you know, actions have consequences at times, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're horrible, right?
Okay, boo.
Right? Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing, right? So for anybody that's been around my channel for a minute, right, we had a situation. So we're going back 3 years ago now. I got a phone call from a fairly large YouTuber that was doing his own delete on his truck, right?
Right.
In his driveway. Yeah. On a Freightliner with a Detroit, with a DD15.
Right.
And I'm going to say the truck was a 2018 to 2020 range. And he did all the right stuff, right? He sent the ECM, which was way overkill, right? So you can send your ECMs down to get deleted and reprogrammed, for Marine, because still to this day, Marine doesn't have to run after treatment, right?
Right.
They put it obviously on equipment, but equipment's a kind of a different deal. So if you find somebody that works on Marine engines, right, they can take your ECM and do stuff with it, right? So he did that part, and then he took his one box, right, and hollowed it out, but then he put all, dummy plugs back in there with wires hanging out, right? So it looked legit as can be.
Mhm.
And, and then me and him got in a squabble, and, he started talking tough, and I let some people know what was going on with that box, and they nailed him right away, right? Because it wasn't legal, and he had to put it back together, and he sold the truck like 6 months later because of that.
Right.
Because it wasn't going to go back, right? It wasn't going to accept all that stuff. And it's the same way with like that Kenworth, right? They turned it back on, and now it's a mess, right? So,
Right.
it's one of those choices that if you're going to do it, then you do it, and you do it. And if you're going to go back, then you sell the truck. There was a guy that messaged me 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? I try to help anybody that messaged me looking at trucks and stuff as much as I can, right, through pictures and whatnot. And there was a beautiful 567 2023 Peterbilt, and gray on black, like the dark gray on black.
Right.
I forget what it had, 95,000. So just under 100, 98,000, just under 100,000. Truck looked spectacular. But it had all this after treatment work on it. It had a new DOC in it, right? But it had the SCR was freshly cleaned, and
Right.
what was it? There was something else that was weird. Because knock sensors and stuff, right? That's not weird that you put new ones in, or at 95,000 miles, because you don't know what the truck was doing. Because the truck was really clean, so I don't think it was up over the road. I think it was somebody ran local that was able to keep it indoors and whatnot. But anyways, and I said that's weird, right? That he's done all that with under 100,000, and sure enough, is the guy. Which I'll never understand this, because you got a warranty, right? I get it, but he had electronically deleted it. Turns out the guy told me this, right? So no reason for him to lie to me. One was getting out of the industry about 4 months ago, right before Thanksgiving. So he turned everything back on at 82,000. Started having all these issues. Same deal, right? As everything's just and so his fix was to spend roughly, I don't know, $4 or $5 grand, putting in new filters and getting them cleaned, putting some new parts on, and so that it wasn't throwing check engine lights every time he, every 150 or 800 miles or whatever, right? Yep. Right. But that's what I told my buddy. I said, or told the guy that called me. I said, here's the problem, right? You already know it. I don't have to tell him. He's smart enough to understand. I said, you don't know if that fixes anything. Right. Right. You may be fighting that the rest of your life. Right. Every 300 miles, it needs a knock sensor. And there ain't no way around it. If you don't, if you're running a Cummins and you don't buy a Cummins knock sensor, to say that $300, you're going to be buying 2 of them, which is the cost of a Cummins one. Right. For one. Right. And even if you do it yourself, they're $800. I think they're roughly $800 with a $200 core. Right. So they're $600 every time you buy one. And obviously it gets drained you somewhere, and you could be out somewhere, even if you're carrying it with you, right? That that you can't get the D rate gone or the red light gone, even though you change the sensor, and you got to call out a road crew. So just not worth it, right?
Yep. Well, there was that little I can't remember what it was called, that wonderful device I had that I plugged into my ECM.
Yeah,
That
was
one
it the
day-
black bear or the bear one or whatever?
No, it was. God, I can't think of what it was. They send you the device for free and then charge you like $600 a year.
I know. We talked about a few of those. There's a bunch of good ones out there, I think, that are cheap, that are great for the money. I know. I mean, a lot of people don't have this option, but I mean, some of these tool companies are starting to come around.
Right.
You would have thought they would have long ago, but like Snap-on. So Snap-on runs their own, digital whatever, their own diagnostic,
Right.
computers, and systems. They run the Solus and I forget that. I think it's the Triton and the Solus are like their two kind of lower end ones. And you can buy one, and you got to buy the programming, the inside or whatever you want every year, and that that's $1,200 or $1,300. But you got to buy that no matter what you get,
Right.
no matter what kind of laptop you have. So that's kind of neither here nor there, but that are like $600, and they're really good ones. And Mac uses Bosch, and Bosch has a lower grade one that's like $600. That does a whole lot more than just after treatment, but the after treatment stuff alone is well worth that $800. I mean, if you have a truck that that you're going to be fighting that, right? And I mean, you should know, if you buy a new truck, if it's going to be one of those trucks, sadly, there's no way of telling anymore, right? It is what it's like a lottery ticket.
I had that awesome device for my 23, and at one point I had stopped using my max mileage stuff and started getting more and more codes more frequently. And then one day I got that Christmas tree and left me. I mean, I was literally in the middle of nowhere, Alabama, in this little wide turnout going, oh God, today's the day, and I plugged in my little thing and it's like, bro, you got this code, this code, this code, this code, press this button, do this thing, turn the key, this, do that. Right. And it literally walked me through it to the point where it ran a full-blown hard manual regen, and then went through some sort of cleaning, a much deeper cleaning through it, and look, man, I didn't have a problem with it again since or after that, right? It was fantastic. I was like, that absolutely paid for itself. And then some.
I know we talked about this at length on here, right? Is if you have one of those deals and and you're a person that is mindful of what's going on, and you're a person that that is on a set schedule, like you, where you have downtime, downtime weekly or bi-weekly or whatever, always, right? You're not just run, and you're somewhere where you're not at a truck stop, you're somewhere where something goes sideways, it's not a big deal. It's not an emergency per se. If you're not, you should be regenning your truck every chance you get. You can't regen it too much, right? The regen it too much, basically, it means that you're just burning a bunch of fuel because it's getting, it's obviously idling up and it's getting hot. And I mean, I guess if you did it every day and twice a day, maybe that's too much. But I mean, all those systems, every one of you have seen the crystallization on a DEF pump or your DEF nozzle or your DEF filler neck, right? All that is in your doser, your 7th injector, just chilling out there when it's not running. And let me tell you that it's not running as much as you might think it is, right? So if you can burn that stuff off, weekly, do it, right? Like I mean, so when I worked at OmniSource, we had 7 semis. They were all PACCARs. They were all Kenworth T880s. They were all PACCAR engines. That was when PACCARs were shit. They're still kind of shit, but that was when they were really shit, right? Like fucking half the injectors didn't work most of the time, and the after treatment was a complete nightmare. Is every Saturday, right? I got paid 8 hours to go in there and plug in every truck, and we regened every single truck, and they ran short, right? They ran heavy, but they ran short all week. Is plugged into every single truck every Saturday and regen the shit out of them. And if I didn't see if it didn't get hot, and if it didn't show on the inside that it was burning at 900 or 1,000 degrees for like 8 minutes, Then I ran a second regen while it was still hot.
Right.
And we didn't fight any issues with them, right? And we had 8 of them, so one of them should have been a big limit, right? I mean, maybe more than one, but never had any issues with them. But that was, I mean, we did that. I was there for a year and a half or so. We did that religiously. New trucks, old trucks, didn't matter, right? We did it on all of them.
I remember back then when we were talking about that I had decided I was going to do one once a month. And, because of the way that we run and that sort of thing. And it worked, man. I mean, it was working fine doing that, and I had the ability to do it, pushing a couple of buttons on my phone,
Yep.
And I was like, this is fantastic,
Because
when I got this 26 though, they didn't have the software in their thing. So I'd never bought the code reader.
Because so obviously, I mean, without the buildup, right? I mean, that's the big problem, like the soot buildup and all that. But is just trying to think how to word this not sound. I mean, I don't know. Is just it getting hot and running all, burning off the NOx sensors and the inlet outlet tubes and the EGR tubing and stuff is running all that super hot and getting the oil really hot. I mean, obviously the oil, the oil's not getting really hot, right? It's the engine, but it is getting a little hotter because when it goes through the turbo and it's at 1200 degrees, right? I don't care what you say, it's getting a little hotter than it normally does. It's not bad for it. And when you guys are running down the road, now I know like the new Volvos, I think they physically tell you when it's running a regen and kind of where it's at on a regen, like you can go log into it or while you're driving, like Kenworths and stuff don't tell you anything. You don't know if it's regenning or not when you're driving down the highway. Is 9 times out of 10, you never complete a regen cycle driving down the highway. I don't care if you're driving for 8 hours, on a straight shot, because as soon as the throttle moves a little bit, is that ECM kicks it out, right? It doesn't matter if you're running across freaking Idaho. When I was out in Idaho, right on 84 for 190 miles of basically straight flat road with, other than the wind, you rarely get a full cycle. You just rarely do. And you don't know anyways. That's the problem, right? You just don't know. You can think, oh yeah, my truck regens all the time. It does its thing. You don't know. Yeah. And the only time you're going to know is when you start throwing codes up. And by then,
it's too late.
It's too late, right?
And I've said this before. You were talking about the DEF crystals and all that. Since I started doing this thing back in the day, I made sure all my DEF tanks every day that we fill up, we fill DEF tanks. I don't care if it's 2 gallons or 6 gallons or 7 gallons. I keep it full, right? And my thought process and my theory behind that was the crystals are formed by air. With less air in the system, less chance for crystals, right? And I gotta tell you, I have not on any of the trucks that I had with the DPF system or the DEF system rather, have not had those injector problems and the crystal problems.
I tell everybody.
I mean, I can't prove it, but damn,
fill your DEF, fill your DEF, keep your DEF full. I don't care what you're doing. I know it sucks, right? I've never ever, have I ever before? No, I don't think I've never, ever pulled into a fuel island because I'm scared of fuel islands because people attack me there. And had to, and got one of the, been a super trucker and put diesel in on a big boy pump. Right. So I don't know exactly. I mean, I know there's DEF and there's freaking, reefer fuel and stuff there. Right. So I don't know how much of a headache it is depending on what fuel stop you're at and whatnot, but keep that son of a bitch filled up.
Yeah.
To the top. It doesn't matter. Like you said, if you don't think you burnt, if the needle hasn't moved since you started driving this morning, right? Top it off.
Yep.
All right.
No, and like with Rosie, we fuel every day that we work.
Yep.
Because of the miles that we run and that, right? And literally every time we put fuel in, we put DEF in, unless somehow the pump is broken, and then I do it as soon as I can.
Right. I understand there's circumstances, right?
But man, I got to tell you, I've had really good luck with it. Again, I can't prove it, and people say, oh, well, whatever. But look, I have not had on 4 different trucks that I drove that had DEF, going back to my 16 and the 15, I think. No problems until the 16 and 15, my 680 and my 660 started having problems after I got rid of the trucks, and those guys were not keeping the DEF tank full. In fact, Ida will remember my 660 actually got given to the Walmart account there in McClenny, Florida, after I turned it in. And they hated that truck because it started having so many problems. But nobody kept the DEF tank full.
Yeah, our rule, and I know lots of local places just, everybody fuels when they come in every night, right? That's one of the things is if you don't fuel, right, you got to fuel up every night before you go home, right? Last thing you do is fuel and DEF. And if we catch you, right, if I catch you in the morning and your DEF isn't full, right? They take that shit serious because our mixer trucks idle 92% of the time. They're at idle, right? They're only getting hot a very small percentage of their life. And I don't fight DEF issues on any of these trucks, but I do the same thing when I go in and work on days when trucks are there. Is if I got a couple of trucks there, right? I have a freaking thing on my wall. Luckily I only have like 8 or 9 trucks, so it's not like a big keep up that I got to do. Is I do regens on trucks while I'm doing other shit. I just do them. It doesn't hurt anything, and I don't fight lots of after treatment. I have a couple of trucks that have after treatment issues, but they're minimal of what they should be.
Right.
In all reality, they're very minimal of what they should be.
I'm with you. Tim Ransom said he always dumps out the leftover DEF fluid that's still in the pump nozzle before he puts the nozzle in. Look, I was even thinking that I may start wiping off nozzles before I use them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because.
Oh yeah. I'm an OCD.
Those are crazy.
Right. I'm an OCD nut when it comes to stuff. Like clean shops and stuff. And if I'm fueling your truck, right? Like I'm cleaning out the diesel nozzle. I'm cleaning off the DEF nozzle. I don't want one flake going in there.
Right.
You can look. I know that obviously all DEF tanks have the little blue screen in there, and you can't see the bottom. But most of them are worn out, and if you maybe I shouldn't say it because dumb truckers will do this, and then they'll be mad at me. But stick your thumb in there, right, and you can twist that. Usually that's a lock twist, right? Because you can twist the blue part out. Take your flashlight, because you all should have a fucking flashlight, right? And look down in there and look at all the crystals that are at the bottom of that DEF tank by your header, right? Where the little screen or the sock is, depending on what kind of DEF header you got.
Right.
That's just down there from it, from buildup and taking the top on and off, and from the freaking nozzle filling it. And just know that if one of those chunks goes in there, it's night for your 7th injector, right? And if it even gets to that part,
it's going to grow.
Yep.
And that's just how crystals work.
Yep. And again, it's not rocket science, but the 7th injector is probably most of the designs. I don't know about these newer trucks, but most of the designs to change them I'm sure most people have seen them, right? It just looks like an injector that has there's a triangle, right? 3 bolts that are like 1/4-inch bolts. Well, those bolts are getting hotter than, they're an exhaust. So anybody mess with exhaust bolts, you know how that is on exhaust on your side of your engine or, under your truck or clamps. So there's no just changing the injector, right? Like the bolts just come out. I don't care how much anti-seize or anything. So you can figure that's $1,200 if you mess an injector up because there's a crystal that got through a screen into there, right? It just is what it is. That's where I like the catalyst stuff. I don't know I know what I've learned from you guys, and whatnot. But that is where I like that stuff, because that stuff is supposed to help with that kind of stuff, like the build up, the build up and making the deaf better. I mean, I know there was a time where like, I can tell you that there's certain equipment, like Caterpillar, and I don't know if they're that way now, but Caterpillar used to be, there's a big sign that all they would allow, you weren't allowed to put, you weren't supposed to put anything but blue deaf, right? The jugs. Right. And because it was better, it was more pure, right? Or it was supposed to be, than what comes out of the freaking pilot nozzle, right? Where it's been watered down and whatever. Because the additive
times more expensive too, though.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know, and I understand that's a problem in itself. But that's a whole nother thing, right? That's a whole nother,
right.
I guess tangent you can go off it. By the way, guys, I have been following DEF prices this week. They haven't gone up.
Good job.
So Charlie's girlfriend was wrong.
I know you guys are about to shut down, but I was going to ask this earlier when you went on your COVID rant. So what is diesel doing to y'all, right, the prices? I mean, I know people I've talked to.
Making me more money.
Yeah. Right, because you have your fucking shit figured out for your surcharge, right?
The fuel surcharge, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah, fuel surcharge,
good job.
Programs. I mean, right now, people should be pulling out everything they can.
Absolutely.
Well, I've talked to a few people, and I mean, a bunch of them, fuel prices are so high, but I mean, a bunch of people I talked to, like, I mean, it's more, right? But we're just getting more on the back end, so it's not really.
And diesel prices went up another 2.6 cents this week, by the way. So it's the national average is 5.401.
I thought it was more than that.
Nope. That's what it's saying right now.
Live fact checking, Charlie.
I figured gasoline is gasoline hit in Indiana. They were trying to keep gasoline prices down. It was obviously going up, but it was staying like in the 380 range in central Indiana.
Right.
And this never happens, right? But Saturday night, I'll say it was 380 locally, 385.
Right.
And Saturday or Sunday morning, got up, went and washed the car, went to fill up. It was like 428 or something. I was like, oh yeah, now's the time, right? They're going to start pushing this stuff up, which was inevitable, right? It was coming. They were trying to hold it down.
So
I think a lot of states were.
Yeah, all the big chains in the southeast region that I run, they all seem to be up in that 580 range for diesel. So and with the national average being that, what I just say it was 480. Wait, 540. Sorry, brain. Whatever. Yeah, 540, 5.401. So it's always odd to me when we're that much higher in this region than the national average, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm still paying, for the most part, less than that average because, right. I shop around, I get fuel at the racetrack or the QT, although one of my QTs went crazy this week. So, one of my racetracks went completely bonkers overnight. And so we just hit the QT that was one exit closer, just saying. And, it wasn't horrible for the area.
Yeah, and I'll point this out again. There's that one QT in the Loves in Colorado on I-70, right across the street from each other. And I'll see owner-operators at Swift. Both take ComData.
Yeah.
QT is 30 cents a gallon less. And I'll still see owner-operators over at the Loves.
Oh, I've literally seen them $1 different on the same off-ramp. And again, a Loves and a QT on the same off-ramp. In fact, it's exit 159 on I-75. Mm-hmm. That they could be $1 different. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Now,
at the time, there's only one.
These guys could be on the ES Advantage card. My ES card does beat QT usually.
Yeah,
it's not 100%. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. It's never 100%. Right. But shop around, get the best deal for yourself.
have multiple cards.
I don't know if you've heard this part of our journey, Narc. But when we first really started paying attention to fuel, we didn't have any discount cards or anything like that. We were just using apps to find the lowest price. And I personally was saving enough money by going to the off-brand sites. Like I would save $50 on a tank of fuel.
Right.
And people say, well, what about your free showers? Well, a shower is only $15. So I'm still ahead of the game.
Right.
Yep.
I paid for dinner, a shower, and still had a couple bucks left over for a magazine. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah.
Wild, right? I don't understand that part either. I don't know. Well, I do know a lot because I've listened to everybody, but yeah, I don't understand the people that don't plan any of that stuff out. But I don't know. It's wild.
Adulting is hard.
True. Adulting is hard.
That's no lie. I have not been a fan of adulting this week at all. In fact, probably the last 6 months, I've not been a fan of adulting. With that being said, we're going to wrap this thing. I want to thank everybody for chatting and hanging out, and Narc for popping in and eating that damn food in front of me. You rat.
I ate that whole pizza, by the way.
I've got homemade.
I don't think I normally would have done that.
Oh my
God. It would get me fat.
Yeah, I just said they want their points. Calm down, sir. Oh my God.
That went into our calculations, Ida.
Yep. That's the crazy part. Even when Pilot was, we were getting 10 cents off of there, right? It still didn't match. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Yeah, some of the off-brand stores do have rewards as well. Anyhow, with that being said, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Narc, be careful where you're at. There's lots of tornadoes out in the world right now. Just saying.
Yes, sir.
Jeff, what do you got, man?
Keep that rubber side down, and remember, with no action, there is no traction, guys. So get after it.
He said, if without action, there is no traction. Remember that, because that's like legit. I'm just saying, if you're just sitting on your butt doing nothing, expecting the world to change, yeah, good luck. Lots of people out there in the world like that. None of us want to be them, and none of us want to hang out or listen to those people. Just saying. Narc, I appreciate it, brother. We'll, you know the deal.
Yep.
Hey, everybody, take care of each other, look after each other. No one's looking after us but us. Don't be that guy that just whips out the camera to watch that guy hit somebody. Offer to help him. Then when he says, get out of here, you're dummy, I know what I'm doing, or he says something like, I know better than anyone, I've been on Swift 15 years, just say okay and get out the camera. Walk away. With that, we'll see you guys next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, like every week, hopefully. And thanks for popping in. And if you're catching this replay, go comment. We'll see you guys. Share it out. All that good stuff. See you soon.